So I'm here with Craig Wallenbrock from the LA Dodgers, hitting coach. I am learning so much, it's incredible. And what's really incredible is these guys have spent their lives around baseball, and a lot of the biomechanics and a lot of the things really cross over. We're going to start talking about feet, and Craig's going to help me with what they try to do in baseball, how they use their feet, where they pressure the ground, and what's going on. So Craig, just give me an idea of what am I trying to do here?
I just want you to stand and get comfortable.
Okay.
And when you get into a comfortable position, I want you to feel that the heel cleat that's forward, that's kind of right under the instep.
Okay.
I want you to feel that that's going to be your focal point for your gather.
Okay.
And so as you gather, I want you to kind of feel like you're going to press that cleat down into the ground. And as you press that cleat down to the ground, I want you to kind of lift your little toe up and back as you push down in there.
Okay.
And tell me what you feel.
Well, I can feel it big time. And what's going to be a little scary is that that's almost exactly what I do now with a golf swing.
Right.
But a lot of people don't teach that. They see get on the ball of your foot, keep the weight on the ball of your foot, keep your toes engaged, turn into the ball of your foot.
You then get your rotation becomes knee driven. And when you get a knee driven rotation, we talked about that space before.
Yeah.
You have to do something to create the space, and most guys fall away from the pitch.
Okay.
So they're trying to hit forward, but all their momentum is going back and they lose all that momentum.
Okay.
We want our swing to be pelvic driven. And if I push that cleat down in the ground and lift the toes, I can feel my glute activate.
That's right.
So when my glute activates, my drive is coming from the pelvis and not from the knee. And when I drive from the pelvis, I now am helping that momentum and that space. Everything is coming forward into the ball, and I naturally firm up the front side.
So what you're basically telling me is you're playing more towards your heels than you are your toes.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, that's something I fought in the golf industry forever, and they all wanted kick this knee in, restrict your hips, push off your right foot, which it never made sense to me. And so just tell me if I'm moving like that, does that look somewhat?
That looks good. What I see a lot of hitters do when they gather like that, their knee actually turns out a little bit, which gives you even more separation from the pelvis and the knee or the femur, so that your hip has to lead back.
For me, doing that, I really like that cleat idea. That part of in my shoe, that part of my foot, to feel the pivot or the pressure being more in that cleat.
Right.
See, when I do that and then I lift my little toe, that feels
strong, don't you?
So if again, what's interesting is once I stand here, now I start making a golf swing and I'm doing the same thing, and everything's starting to come more from my pelvis. That's basically the same way I hit a golf ball. And that feels active. I'm going to use a term here because you tell me. It feels very active, but it feels stable at the same time.
Yes.
I know
think that's very good, yeah.
It's kind of an active and stable don't match, but that's what it feels like.
You have stability throughout the action. You control the action. You're not falling all over the place and losing posture. You maintain your posture as you do that all the way through.
One of our biggest problems in the golf industry is what they call early extension, which people set up to a golf ball and they get here and their hips move up into the ball, so they have no space.
Right.
If that, I can see where that right there, where that moves, where this is more pelvic driven this way than it is foot driven.
I call it an inside move.
Inside.
As opposed to an outside move. If I go outside, I have to change direction and come back. I want to be able to go straight into it, so I make an inside move, bad ankle.
So your right hip, now I'm going to ask you a question. So if you were down the line, and I was hitting the baseball, we're going to have somebody come in here that can actually hit it. I can hit it, but I'm not going to do it probably right. So if you're looking from that camera and I'm here, when I move, my right hip socket would not move closer to that ball.
No.
It would move this way.
Forward, yeah.
Forward, but not out.
Not out.
Okay. In the golf world, the guys that are really good, if you put a dot on their right hip socket at address, when they go back, when they come down here and go through here, their right hip socket does not move out at all.
No.
But 99% of people who play the game, this hip, the first move this hip makes is out.
Yeah.
Would you say that's probably from how they're using their foot?
That's probably how they're using their foot. I tell guys, if you're going to punch somebody right in front of you,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess you could go that way and get them, but that's a slow way of doing it. So if my fist is on the hip and I make that inside move, there's my karate punch. There's the drive into it. Forward drive directly into the object.
We might want to patent a golf shoe that has a colored spike or something. 'Cause that's, okay, so we're gonna have Ron come in here in a minute. I'm gonna have him hit a couple of baseballs so I can watch, and then I'm gonna maybe hit a baseball, and we might have him hit a golf ball.
Okay.
So, so we can get him, so we can see how it crosses over. Because what I'm hearing here is exactly, again, what I've learned from the biomechanics, and I've been around, and foot action and pressure in the ground, and what we talked about there about the balls of your feet. I don't think people understand. You get on the balls of your feet, a couple things happen. As you move out to the balls of your feet, your brain thinks you're going to fall down, so it tightens all your structural muscles.
Tightens everything, and it really tightens your quads.
Quads are tight, hip flexors, iliopsoas is tight, everything's paraspinal muscles, you can't move. And really the only direction you can go is that way. Well, we're in a rotational sport.
Ball's coming this way.
You know, we got a ball set, but we got to rotate, and you got a ball coming this way that you got to move. You get out on the balls of your feet. I'm not so sure how you're going to make your body work from there. I don't know that it can effectively. I don't think there's any way to then at that point really make it do what it's supposed to do, because you're off balance to start with. So balance in baseball. In your feet, where would you say most of your force is in the ground? Is it more towards your heels, towards your toes, in the center of your foot?
I think it actually is working in two directions at the same time.
Okay.
I think it's working down as if if this was a soft grass, it would be like I'd be pushing it back to cause a wrinkle so that I could get that lateral movement coming off the inside part of my heel, which makes me almost feel like I'm pushing the ground this way.
Pushing the ground back that way.
Yes.
You know, there was a pretty good player that I spent part of my career with working for that his coach, the whole time he played, made his right foot, he said, your right foot can roll in like this, but your heel can't come off the ground.
Right.
Jack
That's one of the drills we have. One of the drills we have, if you can hand me that bat and I'm just going to lay it on the ground. One of the drills that we do is exactly that. I got that bad ankle, but I'll have them straddle the bat on the instep of their foot.
Okay.
And they have to keep their heels on the ground and swing so that they stay on the whole foot. And they can't come this way to do it. So,
well, again, Nicholas's coach, Jack Grout, for one entire year, Jack had to play golf where on the backswing, this foot could roll in, and on the downswing, that foot could roll in, but neither heel could come off the ground.
Off the ground. Outstanding. That's a baseball drill as far as I'm concerned. It's one of the better baseball drills.
Well, it probably should be reintroduced in the golf industry. That was perfect.